Hi guys, Erin here at Queen Bee Tarot, and let's talk about the astrology coming up for the week. So today is Sunday, August 9th, and the moon is just moving into Taurus, and usually the moon moving into Taurus is a really nice stabilizing energy. But the thing that I was talking about in my last video, where Venus has just moved into Cancer and Mercury just moved out of Cancer into Leo, our emotions are kind of in a funny place right now. So I'd like to describe the theme of this coming week as emotionally hungry. And Taurus is usually all about satisfying those basic needs: food, sleep, good company, that sort of thing. Very grounding earth sign energy. And with the moon in Taurus balanced out by Mercury having just moved into Leo, what we've got going on is we've got a little bit of emotional exhaustion happening here. It's been a really trying year so far. And, you know, Venus was lighthearted in Gemini, and now our hearts and how we give and receive love has just moved into Cancer. So that's going to be just really intensifying that inner love language and those feelings that are happening. The moon is the other thing that is astrological reference to feelings. And it's all about our emotional health. And so the moon in Taurus is kind of hungry. We're hungry for our needs to be met. Now, Mercury, which is how we think and how we communicate, has been in Cancer for a while. So we've been communicating from a deeply feeling place. And it's been trying, and not everybody's comfortable with that. Maybe some extra tears have been shed. Maybe we've been, extra sappy or extra hurt. And so Mercury moving into Leo, we might have a little bit of a rubber band effect. Like, whew, I'm done feeling like that. I'm good now. I'm good now. So beware of shutting off those emotions. Beware of stuffing that emotional flow. Because honestly, that emotional flow is what's going to be teaching you the most about your deepest values, about your core beliefs. And examining those core beliefs is another thing I touched on in my last video. I wanted to share a funny little story with you. So I record in my house and I don't have a fancy light, so I'm really dependent on sunlight. And if the sun comes in from the window at a certain angle, basically I have to be done shooting for the day. So I've got just this little slice of time, and my neighbor started up with a leaf blower. And this thing was so loud. There's no way I could record this video that I'm doing right now. And so I'm sitting here and I'm starting to feel really frustrated because every time there's a sunny day, my neighbor starts up with something loud. And so I start stewing. And this is an emotional ego opportunity for me to learn. So I'm thinking about this, and instead of just stewing and waiting for him to be done, and at which point I might run out of time, I decided, you know what? We're friendly to each other. Why don't I just go over there and say something? So I went out there. And I called to him, and he had his earmuffs on. He didn't hear me right away, but eventually he turned around and he was like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" And I said, "I hope I'm not being the most annoying neighbor in the world here, but could I ask for just an hour? Just 1 hour so that I can finish what I'm doing, and then you can turn on the leaf blower." And I was afraid of his reaction. I almost didn't even go out there. And you know what he said? He said, "This thing's loud as hell. No problem." And he said, "An hour? Okay." And took off. So things are good. The lesson here is that if I ask for what I need, I'm going to feel better in the end because I communicated my needs, and 9 times out of 10 things turned out better. And if I didn't communicate my emotional needs, if I didn't communicate my needs at all, then I would have been sitting here stewing and missed my day and not made this video. So my lesson to you guys is, if you find yourself in a place of emotional upheaval, don't stew on it. Let's communicate. Mercury in Leo is going to have our communication be a little bit tinted by ego. And so my caution is, let's balance that Venus in Cancer, like I need my emotional needs to be met, with communication that comes from a respectful and kind and patient place. So right now with Mercury having just moved into Leo, it's like the baby stages of Leo. And so we're going to be feeling the baby stages of ego development coming through our communication and happening inside of our heads. You know, the immature things that I was thinking inside of my head when he was making all that noise was quite silly, honestly, and not really me. But these are all lessons. Everything is a lesson if you look at it right. And if we drop the ego and just take it as a lesson and think, okay, what could I do differently in this situation? You know, I've been living here for a long time, and that's the first time I ever asked him for a little bit of peace and quiet. And he reacted so nicely. I don't know why I didn't do it before. So let's move on to what the rest of this week looks like. Let's keep in mind that our emotions are going to be feeling deep. Our communication might be tinted by baby stages of ego. And we've got on Monday, Mercury square Uranus. So what that means is how we think is going to be challenged by shakeups that come in our lives. And Uranus square Mercury is an influence where if you're open-minded and if you're cool with going with the flow and just going, okay, let's see what happens, you're going to have an amazingly creative, productive day. But if you're really closed-minded and you're like, this is how things should be, I don't like change, you're going to have a really hard time. You're going to feel anxious, you're going to feel scattered, and you might make some irrational decisions in this place. So, as we move forward through 2020, my number one piece of advice for you would be patient. Think things through. If your ego and your drive is like, I want to do this, I want to do this, just take 5 seconds and think about how can I do this respectfully? Is this going to be the best thing for me and the people around me? And if so, let's proceed with love and light. Right? But if we re-examine the situation and we realize that I'm going to say something stupid and it's coming out of a place of ego and it's a kind of thing, check yourself, right? It's all an opportunity to learn. The other thing I wanted to talk about is on Tuesday, there's going to be some planetary angles that might make us feel like we can just conquer the world. Like every idea is the best idea we've ever had, and the ego is going to be running strong. And so again, let's be patient. Let's think things through. Don't make any major decisions unless you've really, really, really thought about all the details, how it might play out. And if anything comes up as a red flag, now is not the time to ignore it. Pay attention to any red flags. Definitely stop and check yourself and think about your decisions. On Wednesday, there's going to be a pause. On Wednesday, there's going to be some planetary angles that make us feel like maybe we're a little bit tired. That's cool. Maybe plan for the middle of your week being a little bit of a break, because that whole emotionally hungry theme is going to be going strong and it's going to make us feel pretty tired. And on Wednesday, the moon moves into Gemini, so we're going to be feeling a little bit lighter and a little bit more ready to take on the world and multitask, even though our energy levels are going to be low. We might feel just a little bit of mental clarity starting to come through. Thursday, we have a really intense angle. We have Mars square Pluto. And the risk with this is really, really, really intense power struggles with people. I would recommend please stay away from dangerous situations. Don't put yourself into any danger whatsoever. Again, with the red flags, pay attention to the red flags, you guys. You know, if you're going to meet somebody new, please meet them in a public place, not in a place where you might be by yourself and not able to ask for help. If you were going to get into any kind of a lively discussion with somebody, check yourself, make sure ego is not feeding into it. And if things get heated, please walk away. Thursday is going to be a really intense day of power struggles and stuff, challenges. Watch out for physical activities that might put your body in danger, things like that. Okay, guys? The other thing too is that ego battles are going to be running strong, and if you act from a place of vengeance, it's going to come back at you like a ton of bricks. We have something coming up really soon, Mars retrograde, in the early stages of September, and so we're gonna have a bit of that karmic kickback where we send out our energy. Hopefully it's good. If it's not good, it's going to come smacking you back in the face pretty soon here. And then on Friday, the moon is going to move into Cancer, and the moon is going to be square Neptune. So we're going to be feeling a little spacey, a little bit like deep in those emotional waters again. I'm giving you guys a heads up because it is going to be a bit of an intense week, you guys. And on Saturday, Uranus goes retrograde. So Uranus is the one planet where it doesn't really matter so much that it goes retrograde because it's always the planet of change and upheaval. But the thing about Uranus going retrograde is that rather than seeing change and upheaval coming from outside of us, it's going to be a time of inspiring intentional creative change inside of our own selves. So, you know, when Uranus first goes retrograde, it takes a little while to kind of get that ball rolling. But as it progresses, it's going to be retrograde basically till the beginning of next year. We are going to get really solid and really devoted to those self-improvement plans, to working out those ego issues. It's actually going to be kind of an inspiring thing. So as all of this planetary action is happening, again, my words of advice are be patient, check that ego, and when in doubt, think it through. Okay? Love you guys. Sending all kinds of love and patience to you. Buckle up, take care of yourselves, and work on those I am sheets. Let's work on positive affirmations about the best parts of ourselves. And if you find that you've got negative reflections coming back to you, it's one of two things. Either you do have something to work on, or you need new friends. Let's work on that too. The other thing, you know, it's like if you're surrounded by people who aren't reflecting your best back to you, maybe you should move yourself. So again, self-love, take care you guys, check out the rest of my videos and I'll talk to you soon. This is Erin at Queen Bee Tarot. Bye.